Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are into a new month, which is we are in May. So this is going to be the April update of my annual dividend income. And I got to tell you, this was a big change for me, big change month. Last month we had, or the March update, I had added a bunch of new positions, and it was highlighted here in orange: Coke, Kraft Heinz, Cisco, ADM, the ETF SPYD, Carnival Cruise Line, Verizon, Cisco, Leggett and Platt. And I ended that month with 34 positions. So that's numbered 35, but it starts at 2. So 35 minus that 1. 34 positions. And Google is timing out on me over here, but we ended up decreasing my dividend income because of all the cuts that I suffered, from $15.25 a year to $13.50. I wish I can say there was better news for April, but there's not as far as the amount goes, because I've actually decreased my annual amount again. But not all is lost. As you can see, I had some big changes here. For instance, let's look at a sneak peek over here. My first deletion from the account was Apple Hospitality. So I no longer own Apple Hospitality. I used some of the up days that we've had in April to exit this position since they cut their dividend. Next one, Kraft Heinz. I exited that position. I used another one of the up days and to exit that position, and I exited that position due to their poor dividend history and their poor debt load. T has debt load, but they have cash flow. Kraft Heinz just had been a poorly run company for years, so I decided to get out of that position. Next one that I removed was Ryder Systems, the truck rental and truck leasing company. I follow a couple truckers on YouTube, and there was a initial spike of freight, with the COVID-19 thing, and then there was a very sharp drop. So that's going to hurt Ryder. And there was a sharp drop because everything got shut down. ETF SPYD, I released that one as well. And the reason why is because I actually own a lot of those stocks, and the stocks that are in there aren't very strong. Some of them are. They have some good stocks in there, but I wanted to focus on as strong a companies as I could, and end my changeover in April. Next one, Carnival Cruise Line. I had 6 shares, and I took a little spike in the market, and I opportunistically got rid of them. They also cut their dividend, and the outlook on Carnival Cruise Line is pretty bleak right now, even with and especially because of that 12% bond that they took out. And more changes here. SKT, Tanger Factory Outlets. I sold out of Tanger Factory Outlets. Once again, we had some spikes in April, and I just took the opportunity to get out of there. They didn't say they were going to cut the dividend, but with our economy shut down, if you guys don't know, Tanger Factory Outlets is in outlet malls. And in my opinion, and my opinion's worth, nothing basically, but these will be the last retail malls to come back because they're outlets. And they you have to travel to a lot of these places to get to them. Next one that I let go, Ford Motor Company. They suspended their dividend. I sold a couple of covered calls on them, and I got out of Ford. Let's see what else. Next one I got out of Nokia. Nokia is probably my longest holding stock that I own. And they cut their dividend, and I held on, and I've been through about 5 or so earnings calls, and every single earnings call sounds almost exactly the same. It's always excuse after excuse, and it's always we're signing contracts, and we're partnering with this company for this and this country for that, but it never comes down to the bottom line. So they basically they're the low cost leader in equipment, and all these contracts that they're signing is not generating profit for them. So they're doing bad business deals, in my opinion. So I've sold covered calls on them, and finally just decided to let them go. And last one that I have let go is Geo. I used to have a large position there. I used the run-up of the market to let go of my last 20 shares there. So, with all those changes, what have I done? Have I done anything different? Well, there's a couple of new additions. The first one is ticker symbol CM. Whoops, I want to bring that back. Ticker symbol CM, which is a Canadian financial bank, and I used some of the money to get out that I got out of, all these positions that I got out of, and I started a position in CM, and I just started a 5-share position. They do pay about a 7% dividend yield. Now, another thing I forgot to mention, this dark blue is my M1 Finance. The bright green, and this dark one, is my Fidelity Roth account, or my wife's Fidelity Roth account. These lighter green ones is my Fidelity taxable account, and the medium blue ones is my Chase Roth IRA. So go back to the new additions. I started adding to the taxable account in April, and I added, I keep wanting to not click there. I added a closed-end fund, UTF, and I did a video on this long time ago. It's an infrastructure fund, but it's also utilities, so I added it to utilities. It pays a decent dividend, 7 or 8%. But if you don't know about, and it pays a monthly dividend, but if you don't know about closed-end funds, I would encourage you, I'll try to link a card up here if I remember, to my closed-end fund kind of primer, because you don't want to blindly buy closed-end funds. And this has been one of my favorites for a long time. And I took a position in it, bought 20 shares of UTF. And then I went ahead and I started a position in Walgreens, ticker symbol WBA. And I put this under healthcare, but it's kind of healthcare / retail. But they've been paying a dividend, oh man, I think it's over 20 years. I believe they're an aristocrat, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But I think they're a strong player in that market. I really like healthcare here, and I bought 5 shares. I think they're yielding about 4% right now. I'm going to really start focusing on building this taxable account a lot further than I have been. So you'll see that. And the last new addition to the account is ticker symbol ELS. So this is Equity Lifestyle Properties, and I did a video where I talked about permanent social distancing. And this is a REIT, and they deal in what I talked about in that video was the importance of camping. Maybe if we do this social distancing for a long time, that camping may become more popular. But that's only a part of what they do. A big part of what they do is mobile home communities. And I know a lot of people, when you say mobile home communities, you think trailer park, but it's not that. Equity lifestyle properties have higher end, mid to high end mobile home communities where they don't own the homes, but they own the land, so they get lot rent. So if you live in one of these communities, you pay a lease for your space for your mobile home, and they provide activities and facilities, pools, things like that. And I've been watching them for a year. I read all kinds of annual reports dating back, almost 20 years on this thing. And I finally pulled the trigger and I bought 10 shares. So what have I added? That's all I've added as far as new positions, and as far as buying shares. I've been kind of buying like a madman, but it's kind of been I've kind of just used the money that I've sold out of positions to buy new positions, or to add to positions, I should say. Like Archer Daniels Midland, I ended the month of March, with 5 shares, and I now own 11. Which one else? Let's see. Coca-Cola, I ended the month of March with 6 shares. I now own 8. PPL, which is an electric utility, I ended March with 18, and now I have 27.147 because they paid a dividend. Wells Fargo, I had ended March with 16 shares. I now have 30. Let's see, what else have I added to? BPYU, which is Brookfield Property REIT. This one's a little risky, but they have a good backer in Brookfield Asset Management. If you don't know who Brookfield Asset Management is, check them out. But this is their REIT division, and I ended March with 103, and I ended April with 115. And then VTR, I had 46 shares, and I just bought a couple just to bring my average price down, and I'm now up to 49. AT&T, I ended March with 55 shares, and now I own 71 shares. So I think that's all the ads in the Fidelity account. In the Chase account, what did I add? Altria Mo paid a dividend at the end of April, and it dripped about 1.25 shares. So I went from 61.3 to 62.6 basically. Let's see, what else? Verizon, I have not added any more shares. They just will not cooperate and let me add. Leggett and Platt, I did add 5 shares. I had 5 shares end of March. Now I have 10. The big ad that I did was for Cisco. Now, I ended March with 5 shares of Cisco, and I'm ending April with just a touch over 30 shares. So that's Cisco. I'm really bullish on Cisco. Oh, and then I added to Meredith, MDP. They cut their dividend, but I think they're being a little overly cautious with that cut. And I'm comfortable adding here. And I went from 30.59 up to 55.59. So I added, 25 shares in the month of April. And then, which one was it? OZK, Bank of OZK. They increased their dividend every quarter for the past, I don't know how many years. I think they're close to aristocrat status. So I went from 25 shares at the end of March to, Where am I at now? 35.434. So a lot of movement going on in the month of April. But as you'll see, my dividend income, even with all those moves, because of all the cuts that I suffered, I had $1,350.91 to end March, and I'm up to $1,264, or down to $1,264.68. So I took a hit on annual income, but I think, and I think most would agree, that the health of the stocks that I hold has improved dramatically. There's still a couple of things that I'd probably want to get rid of here, and that's AMLP, but they haven't cut yet. I don't know if I'm going to wait for them to cut. And VET, who has cut, but I have a covered call sold out on them, so I can't really sell them just yet. And is that it? Is that all the ones I'd like to get rid of? I mean, you got BPYU and VTR, which are real shaky in senior housing, and this is a diversified REIT, but they do have some retail exposure. But other than that, I'm very happy with the direction that the portfolio is going, and I'm very happy with the diversification that's going on here. Because if we look back, let me bring this one back up. If we look back to March and compare, I still had, at the end of March, I had 24% in real estate, and I'm down to 17. I only had 4.6% in technology. I'm almost up to 10% there. What else are the big changes? Industrials 5.1. I'm now up to, I'm down to 4.2. Utilities was 2.6. I'm up to 5.8. So I'm liking the direction of the overall risk of the portfolio. Like financials, 6.1% is now up to 10.5. So I'm excited, and then we had covered call income of $154 ending March, and I ended April with $208. So I made about $54 in covered call income that went in to buy, mostly Cisco. So that's it. This was depressing and also uplifting. It's depressing because the yearly income is dropping, and it's dropped for the past 2 months, but the moves that I'm making, I think, are very, very prudent for the future and for dividend growth, for sure, and dividend security, which is a lot more important than yield, of course. So I know this went on very long. If you made it this far, give me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe. If you got any questions, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.